the second to last game, I think, for us for the day. We got this in one more after, and it should be a pretty interesting game because it's going to be Kinguin taking on Singularity. I think this will be one of the closer matches. Obviously, we just saw Wind and Rain. You were observing that game for Cinder and myself. That was a whooping, as some of us would say. But this one opening up a little different, and it seems like Kinguin may have been watching that game because after seeing a Chen, they pick the Winter Wyvern in response, and then immediately after the fact, they take a Pangolier. So based on this, I'm actually kind of wondering who had first pick.
Yeah. So first pick was Singularity.
Okay,
Chen
yeah,
first
okay,
pick
that makes
overall.
sense. So they picked the Pango and the Winter Wyvern to counter the Chen, and then the Bloodseeker came out to counter the Pango. That makes the most sense.
And I'm a little bit worried about this for Team Kinguin because if you look at the hero portraits, the Pango keeps on poking the Winter Wyvern with the sword.
They're not good friends.
It's not a good time. But yeah, you talk about it, the Bloodseeker, Rupture counter for Pango, very annoying to have to deal with. I guess that it's one of those things too where you can't always stop the ball if you want to, but then you're also in a weird position because you're a Pango and you're just sort of stuck there and not going to be able to do all that much. I feel like this is going to be a very fighty game though. Like both of these teams, we saw that other game earlier with Kinguin where they played the Kunkka. It felt like they just wanted to keep going. And Singularity, sort of a similar style maybe.
Yeah, Nisha's Kunkka was absurd. Unfortunately, I didn't get to watch half that game because it was being relocated in the house over and over again, but it did look very impressive. But I do like Pango in general against Chen. It is one of those heroes that walks to the offlane and just has an incredible arsenal of items that you can buy on him. You can go for the Blank if you want initiation, you can go Yules, you can go Greaves, Crimson Guard, you can go Maelstrom, and MKB or whatever for just pure damage. The flexibility is just off the charts. And most importantly, he's great against Chen because you can just, if you want to go the wave clear build and go for the Maelstrom, you can do that. And it's good because it kills the creeps. If you want to, you can also go the Crimson Guard, which is good because it stops you from taking damage. This is probably the first Dark Willow that I've seen today. Actually, I think it is the only Dark Willow we've seen today, right?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. We saw
at least in the EU region. I don't know if one of the other regions picked it.
Yeah, it's been banned against Bambo. And I think I saw some in the China qualifiers, but it wasn't that often. All they need now is an Oracle, and they have all the new heroes. That and a Monkey King, get it going.
Monkey King's actually not even that bad this game. Can land it against the Beastmaster with the armor nerfs. It doesn't feel so bad anymore. Monkey King has, I think, 0 point something armor. So normally walking to lane against Beastmaster before didn't feel as good, but I could definitely see you picking Monkey now.
That'd be pretty nutty. Yeah, but Dark Willow taken here. Incredible team fighter. You look at this lineup from Kinguin, it's a ton of really good team fight. Whereas on Singularity, it feels like it's much more all in on winning the lanes in terms of CS and then also kill potential.
Yeah, their Singularity's draft is much more predicated around lane pressure into objectives because they have Beast and Chen. But we've seen, what happens when you play those heroes into Winter Wyvern. I mean, they don't have the Visage that we saw last game played by Alliance, but it still is kind of in the same vein of these Winter's Curses can do a tremendous amount of damage and sometimes even just straight up kill a core hero if you're not careful. Kinguin alleviating some of the team problem they had before, which was we don't really hit buildings. So between Winter Wyvern, Pango, and Dark Willow, not a single one of those heroes can contribute to tower pushing whatsoever. They need something that's going to offer structural damage, and that's pretty much where the Nature's Prophet comes in. Also, he can TP anywhere, set up a gank for the Pango or the Dark Willow. Both these heroes actually have pretty good kill potential with just a +1. Doesn't even have to be another stun or anything like that. Just someone to keep them in the vicinity, and Nature's Prophet can definitely do that.
And taking a look at the bigger picture here as well, as far as these two teams are concerned, they're both tied right now at 2-2 in the groups, and that is right in that cutoff point for getting into the playoffs. So this matchup for both of them, it's not necessarily a must-win, but with the top 3 spots kind of being held, it feels like at least, there's a decent chance that if you lose this one, you're dropping down there and possibly find yourself outside of the playoffs come the end of tomorrow when the group stage ends. So very important match for them, as all of these matches are in the best of ones, as the Ember Spirit comes out, kind of the hero of the qualifiers in a way, it feels like to me.
This is actually the first time I've seen him picked so late today. It's either he's banned in the beginning of the second phase, or people just first pick him. There's not really much in between. And I don't think, well actually, It kind of has to be a core Dark Willow, right?
I guess that they could conceivably do core NP, and then have like Willow Wyvern, but that's an awful support combo. It feels like.
It feels very long cooldown, and
Whoa.
yeah, I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the Wyvern Dark Willow combo.
Man, this team's Singularity draft is just like all about pushing down lanes, pressure in lanes. I love the Jakiro last pick.
Liquid Fire is a heck of a spell, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
And also, if the games end up stretching out, Jakiro scales phenomenally. Like level 25, getting the extra ice path duration and such. If you do end up going to like some weird late game scenario, which I could definitely see happening because Kinguin, they do have some way of taking towers, but their only objective taker right now is Nature's Prophet, and that's it. Their high ground is really weak. Like pushing into a tier 3 is going to be an absolute struggle for this team. They want to completely crush the lanes if they're going to have some like early game ending kind of window. And I don't really see that happening. Like Jakiro's a strong laner, Chen's a strong laner. Ember Spirit is kind of 50-50 depending on what hero is against. Beast and Bloodseeker, both strong laners. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at Kinguin and I'm going, okay, what hero is going to win its lane?
And Morphling doesn't necessarily feel like that hero. Kind of notoriously weak laner. I don't know, getting a little bit worried about this one. This might just be a walkover. I guess at the end of the day also, player skill does sort of count into that as well. And from what we've seen, they feel fairly evenly matched, but...
I think that I don't necessarily think they're going to get ran over, but there is a possibility that the lanes might not go super well for Kinguin. The mid game should be a lot better though, because, you know, Pathos, the Winter Wyvern, and even the Morphling to an extent, they're all going to have some wave clear. So they'll be able to shove, and they'll be able to keep the waves off their towers, and that's how you kind of delay a game. Not to mention the core Nature's Prophet. I forgot they had Exotic Deer on their team for some reason. I totally brain farted. I forgot this guy plays Nature's Prophet core. He plays Enchantress core. He's one of those guys who has that kind of awkward hero pool.
Right.
But yeah, it does make sense now after remembering who I was casting. Again, it's been a long day. Been here for like over 12 hours already.
No problem. I got to get the voice record going too. We're doing it though.
Yeah, I do think there's a chance for this lineup. And I do like the Pango, and I think that if they can buy enough time, the Morphling will also become a force to be reckoned with. So we'll see what happens. See what Singularity can do in the early game.
So this was something... Oh, I thought for a second. Never mind. I was noticing in like a couple of the games that I was spectating, they were occasionally coming out without 2 wards. Some teams were, which I found kind of interesting, right? Like it was just the 1 ward for a lane matchup that they really wanted to make sure they had the full vision of, but then afterwards they would save them for like more mid-game oriented stuff, which is kind of cool.
And sometimes having the vision down in that super early game in a 2-1-2 doesn't really matter, because the heroes either A, aren't going to rotate, or B, even if they do rotate, they're not going to secure a kill.
Yeah.
So if you have the vision down and you have 2 wards down immediately and you're like, oh, okay, I can see all this stuff, how often does that vision actually keep you alive?
Right.
You know, that's kind of the trade-off you're making. So during the mid game, when everyone has more levels and heroes are scarier, you're at a point where having the vision is more important, because that vision, not only do those heroes have better kill potential later in the game, but it could also result in you just losing an objective.
And the other thing about it is maybe that's just an extra Ironwood branch that's in your inventory or something.
There
Why
it
not?
is.
Easy peasy.
And Ironwood branches are more stat efficient than they've ever been, because they give more mana and more strength, or more HP per stat.
Oh no. He's been taken over by the enemy as Chen actually takes over one of these little treants. It's nice to see that, as the Winter Wyvern is going to make her way up towards the top lane. Morphling versus the Bloodseeker in a mid matchup, and in spite of that, I think that still Bloodseeker is going to be able to outdamage him.
It's really dependent on the side lanes. If Singularity have good harass going, then the Bloodseeker is going to win the lane, just hands down. But if for whatever reason Kinguin are able to edge out the lanes and there's not much harassment going on, then you're not going to get the thirst stacks that you want on the Bloodseeker. That's the whole point of playing him in the mid lane. Bottom, Dark Willow taking a good chunk of damage here.
Give him a little punch on the backside on his way out. Shows that there is chains first, so not going to be able to mitigate any of that damage, at least until we get to level 2. And meanwhile, taking over more of these treants and throwing them back at Exotic Deer's way. These things are pretty buff. They do a good amount of damage.
Can't escape your sin.
This lane is just obnoxious. Chen Beastmaster.
And we mentioned it before, there is a Satyr creep actually over here as well. They did not decide to go for a body block or even a block with the treants on it.
That's the second time in a row we've seen people make that mistake. And the Satyr creep is going to make you a lot sorrier, because this thing has a ton of nukes. It's 160 damage shockwave. It's got almost 1400 range on it too.
Forcing Adamson out of the lane for a moment there as well, and you mentioned it, they decided we're just going to leave the lane and instead we're going to send Elisash down to the bottom, see if they can get some damage in, and they force Mastermind into a salve as Solon going to take some extra damage as well, pops the mango, dual breath and throw it back the other direction. And actually, while that's going on, they managed to find First Blood, taking down Exotic Deer.
Yeah, the Nature's Prophet can't really deal with this lane matchup. So normally, what Nature's Prophet wants to do is he wants to summon Treants, use them to harass, and that's how he lanes. Like, the Treants are what make him such a ridiculously strong laner. Obviously, the hero has good base damage, decent base armor. His animation's not too bad. But the real lane winner for him is just sending his trees at you. But because he's playing against a Beastmaster, starting with a Stout Shield, and he's also having to deal with a Chen, who got a Satyr from the first camp that they didn't block, that just ends the lane for that hero. He's going to get ran at.
Oh, and again, this combination that we've seen time and again where you send back the Satyr Tormentor full mana, then cast again on himself. It comes back. Ooh, if they can get the block in with these treants, look at the body blocks coming through. They're almost taking it down, but it will be able to live. That would have been a huge value snipe.
It was a very nice attempt. This is Exotic Deer is, I think it's one of his most played heroes. I know that he's been playing it for quite a while. The bottom lane, Sullen.
No armor right there with the Heartpiercer aura, and they will manage to find that kill, and Mastermind forced back again, so sort of feels like it's becoming a battle of who can destroy the other person's lanes worse as the root comes out and Exotic Deer dead again.
Yeah, this is the which safe lane is going to feed us more game. Interesting, though, that the Pango gets level 2 Heartpiercer. You do not see that very often. In mid lane as well, Nisha going for the trade.
Oh my god, he's out of his mind and he does it.
Yeah, that wasn't even close, though. He had stick charges and he had a Fairy Fire. That was not even close.
Well, Nisha getting the solo kill mid against the Bloodseeker. And in the meantime, though, Kinguin is going to be losing the Tier 1 tower top lane. And this is the strength of Chen. This is what we didn't see in that last game, I feel like. Nisha taking damage, still holding on to that Fairy Fire. He's daring them to come forward. He's going to take down Solon.
God.
Nisha, God. Thank
this
you for
guy
the blood
is
rage.
a beast. He knows his hero limitations so well. I gotta say, a lot of players would not have gone for that. He doesn't even care about the thirst damage. He's like, you know what? Just get as much damage as you want. Obviously, when he gets level 5 and then 7, it's going to be a bit different. And in the jungle, again, Exotic Deer getting caught out. Tries to TP to base, but just bites the dust again. My goodness.
This is a ridiculous one.
As well as Nisha's doing, Exotic Deer is doing just as poorly.
Yeah.
They have lost their Tier 1 already. It is not even 5 minutes in, and the Tier 2 is taking damage.
God, and every time it looks like he's getting low, it feels like he's baiting him into a Bloodseeker. You see this hero that's really low HP, you think you're going to be able to find a kill. Nisha does not care at all. This is kind of insane how close he's playing this. And it might even just be worth it to get like 1 point in Ice Path or something to see if you can interrupt it, but honestly...
But once you start channeling it, it won't stop, even if you stun or silence him. You have to do it beforehand.
We'll see him pop this shrine now. As 5 minutes in, bounty runes. Looks like they were traded out as each team was able to pick up 2 of them. But again, the big issue is going to be the safe lane pressure that we're seeing. But now Winter Wyvern's been able to come up here and is holding the line a little bit. Goes in again.
Mid, yeah.
He has Morph as well.
God.
Oh wait, no, he does not. Excuse me.
Does so much damage. Yeah, he's opted to put a second point into Adaptive.
Oh,
Mastermind going to get caught out here on the bottom lane as well. That's one hero we haven't really touched on too much, and he is struggling. This Ember has 11 creep kills at 6 minutes.
Oh.
That is so far behind for a safe laner. What's his EXP looking like? Okay, he's level 4. I mean, I guess his level isn't the worst, but yeah, he needs to get the heck out of dodge. He can't sit in that lane anymore if it's that bad, because both the laners that he was against are also level 4.
Yeah. Mikey has gotten level 6 now, is trying to make a move, throws out the axes, needs to be careful, the rotation coming in, and they do have the Curse Crown. This is going to hit onto a lot of creeps. Can they kill off this Willow? They will indeed, as the tower is going to spank Mikey on his backside, but the send home is going to be there. And again, Singularity making the plays that they need, putting the pressure on the tower, down to half HP.
And this is a hard game in the beginning for Kinguin because they don't really have all the tools they want to be able to deal with the deep push. Like, obviously the Pango wants to be sitting on like an item or two before he's able to put himself in front of towers and feel confident in getting these kind of defenses, but it's oh no, mid lane? Is he dead again? No, he's not.
Nisha, very low HP, but pops the stick and still daring them just to come at him.
Doesn't care.
I mean, Ember's just level 4. There really isn't a rotation that can come to punish this at all. Like, you look at this lineup, and Jakiro's the only one, and he's there already.
It has to be Beastmaster. It has to be Beast, and he has to roar out of, like, I guess if it's nighttime, he doesn't necessarily have to smoke, but if it's day, he certainly does. And then he roars into a potential kill, because Nisha's playing it very cocky, right? He's sitting on low HP all the time. 400 HP goes at the drop of a hat as long as he's not able to get the morph off.
Well, again, looks like they will be able to find the kill onto Chen, as he went a bit too deep into the jungle. The kind of crazy thing about this is certain heroes are really hurting, but as far as the overall team dynamics, everything is pretty much even. Less than 1,000 gold lead. There's about a 1,500 experience lead into the favor of Kinguin, but not anything too significant as of yet.
Yeah, one lane's getting screwed from each team, basically.
Or there, he got it off though somehow. He was invis.
Yeah, that was crazy.
What the hell?
I don't know. I'm not sure if he's a human at this point, to be honest. I mean, what else do you say?
Yeah.
This guy has been, at least the last 2 games I've seen him, he's had a stellar performance in both matches. I mean, the Kunkka one, he was doing extremely well from the get-go. He had a good lane matchup, he snowballs, and then eventually he just becomes a beast because he's so like ahead in farm of everyone else in the game that it almost felt like a pub stomp.
Right.
This time around, he's obviously not quite at that level, but he is certainly playing well.
Well, moves in yet again, able to find himself the Bloodseeker, walks into the root as well.
Top as well. They're going to lose Mastermind.
They find themselves a couple kills. Kinguin's trying to turn it up here.
Yeah, committed to the roll-in. Ember wasn't even 6, no remnants out, which means no retreat.
Nisha switches over to strength as he walks through the ice path, still juggling that HP pretty effectively. He'll be able to find himself a couple of denies here and there as Chen getting chased down as well, doing a good bit of damage, and they managed to find that kill. Getting stomped.
And the lineup is definitely slowed down for Singularity. They got like 1 tower, a good chunk of damage on the tier 2 in the top lane, and since then they've kind of been thwarted at every turn, and because they've been putting the Winter Wyvern in these lanes to defend against these pushes, he's already level 6. Hasn't even needed to use the tome. In fact, he'll probably let the Dark Willow take it because Kesor doesn't have his ultimate yet.
Well, bounty runes now. Kinguin able to pick up that one. Mastermind going to pick up a few as well as the Wyvern starts to move in. And won't be able to contest for that, obviously. As far as objectives are concerned, Singularity take them incredibly quickly. The tier 2 is still down to pretty low HP up top. But it feels like, as you mentioned, game's slowing down. Where do you kind of go from here, do you think?
For which team?
For Kinguin, considering that they've lost some of their map control, but they're still doing quite well with the Morphlane.
I think that you're okay drawing this game out, honestly. Morphling in the mid-late game, he's still an absolute monster. I think the Pango is actually one of the other things that really enables this lineup, because you're going to be that Crimson Guard buyer. You can fill in the blanks with utility items. Willow could be in some trouble here. Okay, so it looks like he might be going down.
Got the arcane boots brought out.
That's so much damage. He missed.
Jeez. Oh, man.
Yeah, one of his autos missed.
Obviously revealed right now by the Thirst. They managed to break the TP, and that's Chen done. So a tough time indeed right now for Kinguin, or rather Singularity, excuse me, as Morphling just keeps on finding these kills.
Yeah, I do feel that whenever you have a Chen Beastmaster, you do want to pressure towers. Singularity might not be on the same pace that they would like. And it's not really going to get that much easier. Again, Kinguin have a tremendous amount of wave clear between the Pango, the Morphling, and Nature's Prophet as well, being able to spam the Wrath of Nature. So I do think that they want to be the ones making moves at the moment, but man, their cores, besides the Beastmaster, are just not looking so hot. Like the net worth difference between the Morphling and the Bloodseeker, or even the Ember, like they're sitting at over 1,000 gold below the other cores.
Well, tough times indeed. Getting close to that 3,000, 4,000 experience and net worth leads. And Singularity need to figure out where to go next, how to make these moves. Feels like every time they try and do something, kind of the wheels fall out from underneath them.
Well, one of the good things they have going right now is that Mikey is working towards that Shadow Blade. He actually has enough money for it right now. That'll be something they can use with the pretty good amount of vision. Their ward coverage is great. Like they actually have 5 wards up right now.
Yeah.
So if they can abuse those, maybe the Beastmaster can find a pick-off. He actually does an insane amount of damage. In the meantime, we are going to see Kinguin smoke up here. It's 3 heroes, including the Morphling. They will find the Chen, not the best target, but they'll take it.
We'll be able to take him down rather rapidly. He's had a rough life so far. They can try and see if they can clean up these creeps, and with Chen dead, rather quick endeavor in that. Again, Bloodseeker, he's kind of just been sitting mid this whole time. Hasn't really been able to get involved in that much action.
Well, he tried to get in on some action mid lane against the Morphling, and it didn't work out.
He's 4 levels behind him.
Yeah, he is on the struggle bus right now. That's the kind of the thing with the Bloodseeker against Morph, is that a lot of these heroes, you rupture them, and they have to TP away from you, right? Because you just do, so much damage. But whenever he was going in to try to take these trades with Nisha, he's just morphing stats. He doesn't care that you're hitting him because you're losing health that you're not going to get back, and he's continually morphing the entire time. So he's not able to just bully the hero in lane that he wants to be able to. It's a very Digic hero.
This one does have the feel of maybe taking the tower after the fact as well.
Yeah. They have 4 heroes here. They are definitely going to hit that tower.
Singularity are moving up towards the top lane as well. It seems like an odd fight to take.
Well, the Beastmaster is very farmed, so if they can catch out the Morphling,
Nisha didn't get the strength off that time, but the turnaround, the Winter's Curse is going to be there. They roll through, he manages to live. Nisha's somehow surviving. He's ruptured though. Can they burn him down in time? He is going to fall. So they managed to get that kill at the very least. The Ember also died for this one though, and now they lose another. Bloodseeker's down. It looked good for a moment, and I think getting that Morphling kill in some ways is worth it, but you're going to also lose the most farmed hero in the game, potentially in this Beastmaster. One more hit from Patos secures that kill. Kinguin still dominant.
That was a really unfortunate morph timing because he turned into the Ember. He got the Flame Guard off and he's Searing Chains, but he got hit by the Blood Right while he was Ember. So he couldn't change back to his other form. And that's why he died. If he had been like even a quarter of a second faster on the morph back to his original form, he probably would live. But unfortunately not the case. That poor Chen, dude. Oh.
He can't catch a break. He was standing over here and he like ate his way through the tree, but
it's just bullying at this point.
What the hell?
Please stop bullying.
What's he sitting at right now? 1, 5, and 3. I mean, he did get a lot done in the early stages. He definitely had a good game on that Chen.
Yeah, they crushed the safe lane of Kinguin. There was no doubt that it was going to get destroyed. But, thinking of it objectively, that it's a Nature's Prophet, right? So what are you really stopping when you shut this hero down in lane? Yeah, you're going to delay his item timing a little bit, but he's still going to play the same game. And Chen doesn't really want to play mid late game against Furion anyway, because he's going to be sitting in side lanes and pushing, and your hero's pretty immobile. So even though they did well in the lane, first off, Nisha has been crushing it all day. He did great in his lane. And bottom, you know, the Pango's neck and neck net worth with all the other highest number heroes.
Chen comes back yet again. Will be found and killed as they bring in the Treants. We are still seeing Kinguin move around. A lot of these smoke inks involving this Morphling.
I really like how active they're being with their core. Like, he's building Lincolns. Okay, Roar. That's a very dead freaking Dark Willow.
It might end up coming at the cost of the Beastmaster, though, as he will go down. They also spot out this Ember Spirit, but he sees the Pango rolling in, and, well, we'll give up the chase there. But, yeah, again, like you said, it's getting active with that Morphling. Very cool.
Cinder and I talked about it. You were obviously here, but
I don't remember.
I know, I don't blame you, man. It has been a long day, but just be active in the game. Like, whenever you're sitting and you're just hitting creeps, you better have a really good reason for sitting there and hitting creeps. Because how you win Dota in this patch is battle. Yeah. Find the weakness that your enemy team has and exploit it to the utmost.
Blade Mail out. Core taking a lot of damage here, and there's also going to be a rupture on the Exotic Deer, but they both live through it. And that is getting active, like you were talking about. As Patos runs into Mastermind. Give him a little, hey, how you doing? And he is going to head back towards the jungle to farm a little bit more. Yule's first on the Ember Spirit with the treads in tow. Just trying to make sure that he can survive through the initial burst. Maybe also dodge away from any E-Blades that come out later on from Nisha.
Yeah, you can remove the Curse Crown. You can get rid of Bramble Maze and stuff so you don't get stuck and you're able to Remnant away if you ever get caught out. It's a little bit unusual to see... actually, it's not really that unusual to see Yules now that I think about it. We've been seeing a lot of Yules Maelstrom builds today.
Yeah. I think a lot of it was also like the Axe is really good against that. Yep. Mikey, Invis, they spot him out though. He gets caught there by the root. Macro Power comes out, but he's dead so quickly. And that is how that goes.
This game is getting out of hand real fast. 9k network lead, nice curse.
I mean, I think you're fine taking that one right there. And Solon start the ice path, but will be brought down nonetheless.
They're even able to get pressure on this top tier too. And right now, if you look at the map, the Ember is creep cutting, which is fine. But they're not really getting anything in return. Like, a lot of the time when a support dies like that, you want people out of the map making something happen in another lane, you know, maybe pressure the off lane tier 1, maybe pressure mid. But they just are getting scared. They're not pushing, I think, as much as they would like to be. And that Chen just bought a Vanguard.
Holy moly. All right, you get a Crimson Guard, I'll get one too.
This is definitely not something I've seen. Not saying it's bad, just saying I have not seen it.
He really wants that Crimson Guard. I mean, you can kind of understand where he's coming from, I think.
It's good against Furion. It's good for defending the towers when the enemy team is pushing in. That's pretty much it, though, this game. Besides just, like, yeah, tower defense, and it's good against Treants.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some games where you can look at Crimson Guard and go, wow, this is an amazing Crimson game. Like before when we were watching Visage.
Right.
When there's a Visage in the game or a Wind Ranger core in the game, Crimson is great because it mitigates damage very well from small incremental hits.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason why I'm sure the Pango ended up picking up his as well, as it early on top of the Maelstrom. And yeah, these heroes, I mean, just look at the net worth. Each one of them is like a full item ahead of the Singularity counterparts. And Kinguin looking to be in a very good position to basically do whatever they want in this game. A movement towards Roche. They realize nobody is there. Going to see if they can find themselves the Nature's Prophet, who is off in the jungle. Mikey moving forward in the Shadow Blade. Spots out the Tree Man. Roar comes out. TP rotations. Does look like they're bringing in the Wyvern, but it will not be enough to save him. At least they find Solon, and now the collapse. There's also a battle looking like it's going to go on mid lane. They find a takedown the Chen. Now looking for the Ember. He does get found here. They also have the follow-up as well, the Macro Pyre, but he jumps away. Terrorize comes out. They have the Rupture, dealing a lot of damage there as well onto the Bloodseeker. And he's just walked forward while he's ruptured. Not afraid of absolutely anything at all. And the chase is continuing there with the Maelstrom procs coming out. Heart Piercer for the slow on a Mikey. So have the roots down, blocking off the retreat that they might have gone for as Nisha chases down and will probably be able to find this kill onto the Beastmaster as he is stuck in no man's land.
So, Chen builds a Vanguard and then takes almost 100% magic damage when he dies.
I mean, you got,
and
you
then
got that Vit booster.
The Vanguard did not feel that useful. I'm just kind of confused on what he's actually buying it for, because Crimson is one of those items, the later you buy it, the worse it feels. Work it up. Immediate heals.
Ooh, that root.
Had the Remnant. But yeah, the Crimson is an item that is very timing based. It's already 22 minutes in, and this guy is still a couple of minutes out from finishing the item. And it's also on a Chen. So I'm just kind of curious, is this like the last ditch effort for them to recover the game because they feel like they're so far behind that nothing is going to salvage it except for teamfight items?
I mean, that's kind of what it feels like. And let's see, do we see that echoed in other builds? I mean, nobody has any gold. That's the problem. Like, it feels like they need pipe and, you know, everything. I wouldn't have minded pipe on Chen. That would have been pretty cool.
Yeah, it is an okay pipe game for sure. I just think that maybe there just is no right item because they feel so far behind. I mean, it's a 14k net worth lead for Kinguin at under 23 minutes, so.
Force out the Yules. Maybe could have tried to time the Terrorize. It's not an easy one to time. I think actually Terrorize cast time is... I don't know. I'm not going to try and do math right now. Math is not the play.
It's too late for that. Or early, depending on how you think about it.
Hey. Spot out this Ember again. It's hit by a little chains, but like again, you just look at the Kinguin's movement around the map, and Nisha is not afraid to farm anywhere. Really not now that he has that Manta style as well.
Oh, their team is not killing that Morphling.
Yeah. A little ball rolling as they take down that Bloodseeker yet again, and God, every right click just hurts so badly. They do bring down this Nature's Prophet fairly low, but he's just walking away, able to dodge away from that Macro Pyre. Dodge, it wasn't really moving, but still, axes almost take him down, and now the turnaround as they found themselves this Jakiro. They're going to isolate instead off to the side this Bloodseeker as Nisha ends up switching back over to Strength Form, still going to be able to almost take down this Bloodseeker. They will have a wave form back up in a second if he wants to use it, looking for the hit. It's not quite going to be there, but they do have others in tandem as 3 are dead with the Bloodseeker buyback. He almost went down as well.
I just can't believe how like one-sided the mid matchup was. I thought, okay, there's a Beastmaster Chen lane, that's going to do a lot of harass. And then there's a Jakiro Ember lane. Jakiro's great in the early game. Really good stats, good damage. They should be able to pressure the side lanes enough to give their Bloodseeker an advantage so that he can win the lane. Like, that's what you do when you have a Bloodseeker. And Nisha just said, no, we're not doing this.
I mean, they even brought the Jakiro mid.
And then he just died.
Yeah.
He came to the lane and died. So now I'm looking at it retroactively and going, does Bloodseeker actually win that matchup? Because it really didn't feel... The first time he died, he got baited super hard. And mid lane, we are going to see Bashrock die again here.
Well, Nisha, some trouble. Can they kill him? Oftentimes they will.
Nice kill. That's a good one.
This is where you tip him.
I mean, I think it's a bit premature for the tipping.
Okay, gotcha.
Right now, both these teams seem pretty serious about trying to win. I do like the Force Staff pickup on the Beastmaster. Traditionally, it's not an item that you see, just because you want to build either the Necro Book or finish your Solar Crest or buy BKB or what have you. But they know that the high priority target is the Morphling, and since he does have a Linken's completed already, it's just a lot easier for you to break your own Lincolns and then just roar instead of waiting for someone to cast a spell and then hoping that Nisha's not fast enough to just morph the damage.
Yeah.
Because we have seen that apparently that guy has like god tier either reflexes or just game sense because he was able to morph from an Invis Beastmaster roar.
That was insane.
Like what?
That was definitely the craziest thing in the game so far, I feel like I saw.
Yeah, he's bonkers. Just off the chain.
26 minutes in, 9-28. Solon just gonna try and see if he can push out these waves. And this is what this hero does best, I feel like. Just a dual breath and a TP away. That does signal. Maybe time to go in towards the Roche pit and see if they can close this one out and end themselves off with a win in what would be a pretty big victory for them.
Yeah. Right now, Kinguin are looking real good. Singularity don't seem to have much of an idea that this is going on. Or they just don't care. But I feel like they should care. And E-Blade is going to be up probably within the next, I'd say, 5 or 6 minutes, given the rate at which Nisha's farming.
Okay.
And that's assuming no team fight breaks out where they win. If there is something like that happening, then he's just going to get it sooner. Another roar on bottom this time. They're going to try to retreat. Doesn't work.
Okay, moving in with the Dark Willow there. Patos also chasing, seeing if he can find himself one, and it looks like he will be able to get the Chen. Nothing coming easy for Singularity, although they did get out with one.
I guess they lost the hero with less value.
Can't escape your sins.
Not too bad at the end of the day.
Is he really taunting them right now?
Ooh, that's a hex.
You're 1 in 10, dude.
That's when you taunt, Gabe.
Okay.
That's meta, alright?
I gotcha.
You're feeding, and then you just spam taunt anyway, because it just puts people on tilt.
Okay, I like it. Man, I feel like Nisha, all the little plays here, even switching over to like a ton of agi, just that extra movement speed. You get nowadays up to 404. Ain't bad.
Well, you would be edgy anyway.
Yeah.
Because you really only die to burst, and the only person who can burst you is the Beastmaster, pretty much.
Damage. Kinguin's so scary. They have TPs on Bloodseeker. 10 seconds away, though. 15 for the Chen, though he is back in the base already. But look at how quickly this tower just goes down.
Yeah, the damage being dealt here is pretty significant. I'm surprised it took Singularity so long to react. I mean, the Beastmaster just got back to base right now, and they were also taking damage in the top tier 3, which is even lower than the mid.
And now they've been able to find themselves a hit here as well with the Winter's Curse. They find themselves the Beastmaster. That is the main way to kill off this Morph lane, although it looks like Pango might end up going down himself. But unfortunate there, Nietzsche throwing out his own Blood Right as he trades hits with the Blade-mailed Bloodseeker. Turns back the other direction. Just going to walk away from him.
Oh wow, that was a ton of damage.
Just going to Blood Rage and blast it up, and hey, there you go. Fine again. While bottom lane is pressured, and this tier 3 tower is almost dead too.
So we call it the Tri-Siege. Get every single tower. Okay, so they have dealt almost the highest possible tier 3 amount of damage before taking a single tier 1. They have split their damage so well between these 3 towers. Well, I guess they did get the top one, so
yeah.
shrines are open. But you get what I'm saying. Like, they did so much damage to just the towers alone.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Before actually taking one.
And before barracks, too, definitely. So, I think Kinguin in a really good position to continue the split push, and that, I thought I just saw a sheep stick? Am I crazy?
Yeah, Exotic Theory has it.
Okay.
Furion.
I thought it was on the Wyvern for a second. That might be really crazy. But Solon going to die. And 11-31 never sounded so appropriate.
I feel like with the lineup that Kinguin has right now, they could just go Roche, but they're just not doing it. Kinda, maybe they just don't think they need it, I guess.
I mean, there's not even like a great Roche contesting lineup from Singularity.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they have the Beastmaster vision with the Hawk. You can throw a Macropyre in the pit and some axes. That's about it. That's like the extent of your Roshan contention.
Well, the glyph comes out. The Lincoln's is broken. Needs to be careful about an initiation coming for Nisha, but looks like he's fine. And another tier 1 tower taken. They will spot this ward immediately. Tried to go for the deny, but wasn't quite there. 31 minutes in, 22,000 net worth, and it's been all Kinguin for the last, I don't know, I want to say 15 to 20 minutes?
More or less. I would almost say it's been Kinguin for the last 31 minutes.
Okay.
To be honest.
Fair enough.
I don't know, I never really saw a point in the game, you know, besides top. That was the one thing that Singularity had going for them. In that top lane, they dove the Nature's Prophet a few times. They got the tier 1 real quick. They got the tier 2 down to a decent amount of HP within a good timing. And then after that, it was just a lot of deaths and not really a whole lot of pressuring and objective taking off the back of that. And what did they really get out of the deaths that they got? Because sometimes a hero dies across the map, some core is farming, or you're getting tower pressure, but only having 3 towers down with the Chen Beastmaster lineup in 32 minutes.
Oh man, and look at all these sentry wards down. They're going to spot out Mikey right away, jump forward, find him. Can they kill him off intact? It looks like it's not going to happen. They do have the Rupture onto 1. It's on to Pato. It's not necessarily a huge problem though, as he's just up on the high ground, but Bloodseeker spots it and able to find the kill. There is the Fear onto 2. The send back onto 1. That's going to keep the Jakiro alive. But it looks like the rest of these heroes are going down. Although they do kill off Nisha. Nisha will die. Although the Bloodseeker also goes down. So when all is said and done, it is a little bit of a lead right here for Singularity off the back of that fight, even though they lose 3 for 2.
Still a gold advantage for Singularity because the Morphling himself was worth 1,100. So it was definitely a value kill. I think he popped his Manta, and then he got hit by a Blood Rite after the fact. Wasn't able to morph any HP and then just ended up dying.
That one hurts.
Yeah, because I clicked on him after he had died, and his Manta was almost off cooldown, which means he certainly couldn't have used it like right before he died. And the Bloodseeker was just tunnel visioning it behind the tier 2 tower.
And this is really just the problem. Like, you look at the Beastmaster right now, he has basically the same net worth that he had at 15 minutes. Maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but does not feel like he's progressed that much.
No, he definitely hasn't. The Willow has almost as much money as the Beastmaster right now.
Yeah.
And that is certainly a thing. Especially since I think it's functionally Willow and Beastmaster, they have one thing that they do together, which is solo killing cores, because they just do such a huge amount of damage within their CC that no one can live through it. And once the Willow has Hex, she'll be able to blink in Hex, throw the Curse Crown with the Bramble Maze, and the Terrorize, or not, excuse me, not the Terrorize, the Bedlam, and then you just get a kill.
Yeah.
So you're basically your own team's Beastmaster, just without beasts. You just solo kill a core because you have a Hex and Bedlam.
Yeah, she's actually insane. Well, and speaking of Hex, we talked about it earlier, but on the Nature's Prophet has that and the Bloodthorn completed. So not even going back for that sort of Maelstrom build that we've seen sometimes to push out waves. This is like the Battle Prophet. He wants to get in there and start splitting heads.
Just right-click people, man. You hit for 300 damage.
It's insane.
He's going to have BKB soon, too.
Sell your Aquila. Do it.
He most likely will when he TPs.
Terrorize into the Hex, into the Bloodthorn, into... That's an Ember Spirit dead.
Oh my. That was an amount of damage. Good coordination, though, on the kill. I'm actually really happy that he didn't try to use the Sprout to break Lincolns there, because if the Remnant is out from the Ember, even the Sprout cast time is a long time, because it's an instantaneous cast to use Bloodthorn straight into Hex, whereas a Sprout has a wind-up. Good presence of mind to use the correct items there. Oh my god, that Jakiro just exploded.
I missed that one.
I was going to say they're ganking the Jakiro, but literally before I could even form the words, he was dead. He got Bloodthorned, auto-attacked once by the Nature's Prophet, and then ate the Swashbuckle from Pango.
You know, I don't think that I can look away from heroes that are nearby anybody else on the side of Kinguin. The Macro Pyre, he ends up going down! Oh, the Cold Embrace killed him! Oh, Elisage.
I think he was dead anyway, to be fair.
Okay.
He was already ruptured.
That's fair.
So, unless he magically had a BKB in his inventory, they're going to lose the Winter Wyvern as well off the back of this.
Okay.
I mean, still a 26k lead for Kinguin, and I have seen some throws in my day, but this would be at the top of the list if Kinguin managed to not pull this out as a W.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there is a chance. There always is a chance in Dota. That's just the nature of the game.
We're on cooldown, 25 more seconds. Pango kills everything and almost gets caught there by the Jakiro, who has his courier with him. Meanwhile, Dark Willow, as well as Patos, over in the area. Mastermind dealing some damage as well. The Hex is there. They found him, and the BKB already out. That's Mastermind low, but not quite dead as of yet. So it does look like he can get out of there if he wants. Exotic Deer is ruptured as well, but they were able to find one, and now the roll through. Mikey in some trouble as they blink back in yet again, and well, he's going to get hit. He's going to get caught, and he is going to be killed. Jakiro, the last one in this little skirmish, as he is found. It looks like they will be able to take him down, and well, while this is going on, bottom lane is pushing in. They got Treants there working away.
And this is the ultimate struggle if you're Singularity, because you realistically only have one hero that's going to be able to deal with split push that effectively, and it's going to be Ember. And since I think predominantly we've been seeing treads on every single Ember, that not having the bots kind of hurts, especially when you're playing against a hero like Nature's Prophet, because you want to be able to throw out a Remnant and bot to a wave that is very pushed already, and like continue that pressure for some kind of TP. It's one thing to be able to stop a push by using bots, but it's another one to make the enemy team react to your own. And I think you kind of want that tempo control in this game, because otherwise, basically what's happening right now happens, where all your lanes, or two of your lanes is still pushed, you're dying in your base, and you gave up Roshan because you had to de-push.
Well, this one is looking just about over here. God, so much damage onto that Bloodseeker before he gets the Blade Mail or BKB off, and with Megas in the sights, Kinguin gonna knock down Singularity here. They're gonna go out with a whimper as these guys came to play. The fear is there onto several of them. They found this Ember Spirit. The roll through is there as well from Patos. Quelling Blade can only keep you safe for so long away from the Sprout. No, just no. They have been all about the smack talk this game, it feels like.
I'm so glad that we added more stuff to the chat wheel to make people angry in game. That's really what it's all about. It's not if we win or we lose. It's about, are you upset?
Yeah, I can understand that. Elisage, he's just going to die because why not? And they will eventually finish off these barracks. Buyback on the Wyvern. There's going to be the pendants as well. But Nisha just going to hit away at this building and eventually the Ancients. And Singularity, never say die.
I mean, they don't have to say it. They're actively being murdered. So yeah, they don't have to say the words. Yeah, he's just BKB hitting the throne right now. I respect it. GG is called. And Kinguin walk away with what I would say is a pretty easy win. Like, this is the second game in a row where I've seen a Chen just be completely ineffective. And I don't know if it was just because the team that didn't have Chen just played better. I think that, like, Singularity's draft wasn't necessarily bad. Maybe the Bloodseeker was a bit overzealous. Because landing against the Morphling, he just... oh man, he got owned. And not only did he get owned, but he had to pull another hero to his lane, which also died. And then they got owned even harder. So I'm just thinking to myself, maybe, you know, between the Chen and the Bloodseeker, one of these heroes just should not be on the team. Just maybe send the Ember mid instead and pick another safe laner. I'm not sure. It seemed a little greedy.
It's tough too because you look at this matchup of a Bloodseeker and you expect, all right, Blood Rage, Quelling Blade, we got all this base damage, there's going to be harassment going on the side lanes, and it just, none of those things happen, and it felt like Nisha knew the limits of his hero so well and was able to like get solo kills on him. That's absolutely nuts to me. But that is going to do it for our, I think, second to last game of the day. There is one more. It's only the final series for EU, which was TFT versus Blinkpool. I think that we are casting that one, so stay tuned for that, and we will be back in a little bit with more from the EU qualifiers for TI8. See you guys in a bit.